Bingo, we're in. Well, I've been doing some work behind the scenes, I guess you could say, and prepping my 5.3 to go back in the Dakota. And we're going to do some test fitment today with the new transmission. So, if you guys haven't seen this yet, or maybe I'll need to do some recapping on some stuff that's happened. This is my 4L80E that's going to go behind my 5.3 and into my Dakota. If you don't know much about this Dakota, this is my 92 Dodge Dakota that we LS swapped about 3 years ago. Took it on Rocky Mountain Race Week. Well, we took it on Race Week 2.0 and Sick Week 2021. And it's my drag and drive vehicle, and it's been an absolute blast. I went to refresh it so I could do Sick Week 2022 and found out that my transmission had broken ears. And this is my Turbo 400 trans, and this is what I'm talking about. Bell housing nice and broken. So that kind of changed a lot of plans, and things got way out of hand. Instead of just replacing the 4L80E, I wound up doing an Explorer 8.8 rear end swap with Caltrac split monoleaf springs with new these are Beltec lowering hangers. We lowered the back end of the truck at minimum 5 inches, maybe more, and put all new suspension back here so we can make room for that 8.8. So I still haven't finished up everything yet. I've got a weld on the spring purchase, but you can see I boxed in some of the frame back here as well for some rigidity and some strength. But what I'm getting at today is we are going to put the 5.3 and the 4L80E in the truck to see, one, if the Hooker Blackheart Dodge Dakota transmission crossmember will work as is, which I think it might, which cross your fingers on that. Two, once it's in and we got it all bolted up, then I'm gonna probably make another video. We gotta measure some drive line angle stuff and drive shaft stuff before I finish weld the rear end. All right, hopefully that makes a little bit of sense and get you kind of an update on the Dakota. It's been down for way too long, and I'm really happy to kind of get back after it. I put a new oil pan on this 5.3. It used to have a factory truck oil pan on it, which hung down a whole lot lower, which I actually scraped on the road when I was driving this thing, because this truck still has some 4-cylinder Dakota springs, which are a different spring rate than the V8 and the V6, and it's probably time to fix that as well, but we're not there yet. So let's get after this. I'm gonna get the engine off the stand and get it hooked up to the trans, and I'm also going to install this on the transmission. This is actually says for a Mustang, but it's a Hooker Blackheart transmission mount for 4L80E, and it works with the factory mount, which is this, which we will get all fixed when we're ready. But yeah, I've got a few things to do. In fact, I might go ahead and bolt this up now. We'll start there before we get too far along, and I'll show you guys how this all goes on. All right, let's look at this bracket a little bit more. It's pretty simple to install. You have to remove the lower bolts on the tail shaft, which I've already done. It'll bolt there, and then to the factory transmission crossmember mount on the back of the tail shaft. Then this right here, which is our polyurethane mount, bolts to these two holes here. And what it does is it moves the mounting from here to about here, which gives you a little bit more clearance forward, and it also lifts the mount up some because it won't be so high in the air. It won't have so much of a drop when we bolt it into the truck. So I'm gonna mount my my transmission mount up now, because you know, might as well, and then we'll get to the rest of it. It does come with hardware. This is your part number 7123013HKR, and again, I think it's for a Mustang, but I'm pretty sure this is gonna work with what we've got going on, so fingers crossed that it does. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get these bolts back in here to the bottom bolt holes. Not too bad. I got some room. Got some room up top at least. Cool, cool, cool. Let me grab a wrench and tighten those up. 15 millimeter and a whole lot of turning. Okay, now the rear bolts, at least get them started. I'm liking this so far. All right, now this is going to go on finger tight. Mount looks pretty cool. Just a disclaimer, in no way did I look up LS Swap Dakota and order these parts. A lot of this is just kind of an educated guess from me knowing the truck and where everything's at. So it works cool. If it doesn't work, well, wasn't designed to work, and I can probably make it work by maybe just drilling a couple holes. That's the hope. But now let's get the motor connected to the trans. We're not putting the converter in it. We're just kind of hooking it all up so we can test fit it, because this is going to come back out and either get rebuilt or something before we put it in for good. So, all right. Can you tell it's summer in Texas? We're good. I think we're about to go in here. I'm gonna see if I can get it all lined up and see if it'll all fit. We'll see what happens. Note, my transmission tunnel's seen a BFH before, so we might be just fine. But see if I can wrangle this thing in here. It's pretty heavy. So I'm currently getting hung up on this shield I just took one bolt out. I'm going to take this bolt out, and then I think I might be in better business. So let me get the other one out. We'll keep going. Bingo, we're in. I've been working on this particular truck for 24 years, since I was 16 years old. And the LS swap stuff was pretty new to me, but I learned a lot on that. And I just sometimes I feel like I know it's gonna work, and it does. And I cannot wait to get under the truck to show you how well everything lines up with this bracket from Hooker for this swap. So I'm very glad they made Hemi swap Dakota stuff, because on my LS swap stuff, it works too. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Many episodes ago, I installed this Hooker Blackheart transmission Crossmember for a Hemi swap in a Dakota, and it's got these cutouts for exhaust, and it's a very nice piece. It has a bracket that mounts to the frame, and then this Crossmember mounts to those brackets. Well, I had it in this exact place when I had my Turbo 400 in there. There's a lot of flexibility in it. You can see it has 4 holes here for mounting, same thing on that side. And literally this bracket here that I bought for the back of the 4L80E, combined with the Energy suspension transmission mount, bolted right in the exact same place that it did before. I'm having light issues. Now, for some reason, I have some kind of chassis flex, but I've got the bolt in here. The bracket is tight to the frame, and you can look here, and the transmission crossmember bolts right up, right through these holes. Again, some more flexibility here with the slotted holes. I must be having some frame flex, or perhaps this bracket moved, but I've got one bolt in here. This one's supposed to be in here as well, but it's not lining up, and I can't really figure out why. So I may be loosening up these later and finagling this to get in place. Worst case scenario, I just have to kind of drill that hole a little bit bigger, or maybe even drill a hole in the middle that'll satisfy it. Either way, it's definitely in place. I think it's caulked. I think it's moved a little bit. So I'll loosen this stuff up. I think I have some flexibility there. But I wanted to show you guys that. And then if you look there, I'll move some light back, the tail shaft's right in the middle. Well, it's a little bit to the left, but I've got room to move of the dry shaft loop, and that loop's going to be perfect place for the yoke and everything, that I don't have to move this either, which I was really concerned about. So it works, guys. It's gonna work out just fine. So the motor and trans are back in and we're lined up, and I'll be able to finagle this stuff around, get it all bolted down where I need to be, get it all centered up where it needs to be, because I've got some little bit of room back and forth with those rubber mounts on the engine to get this really well lined up. So awesome, awesome, awesome. I was so concerned about the transmission crossmember working and everything that I totally forgot to check out the oil pan, the Amazon oil pan that we put on here to see what the clearance is like. And holy cow, does it fit nice. So getting an idea from out here, we've got probably, inch and a half from the rack and pinion here. I'm pretty sure I could drop this thing if I needed to. So we got all kinds of room, all kinds of clearance, looking great. So it fits awesome. And then if we look underneath the crossmember here, you don't see it hanging down anymore. So let's go under the truck and I'll show you the rest of fitment. All right, check this out. All kinds of room. Again, the oil pan is no longer the lowest point of the truck. This crossmember is here. Plenty of room in between the crossmember. It fits amazing. So Amazon oil pan for the win. Zero concerns about interference anywhere. And well, that is bang for the buck right there. I just have to now buy the correct oil dipstick tube for it, which I've recently found out is a LS3 oil dipstick tube. So I got to order one of those. And well, once I get all this stuff kind of figured out with the drive shaft and everything else, we'll be in business. So awesome. All right, I'm sure I look a mess. Keith kind of commented how I start these videos out squeaky clean and end up like this. And well, you know, I don't know why I get so damn dirty. But anyway, the motor and trans are in. It's late, and I'm gonna call it. I've got some finagling to do this weekend to get all the hardware like tightened up and mounted. And that way we can start measuring for a drive shaft and also do driveline angles, which that'll be coming up next. I'm gonna have to have a friend help me out with that. One of my best friends, Tommy, is gonna come help me out. I'm not sure if it's this weekend or when, but I'll get everything buttoned up here. And we're getting a lot closer to getting this thing back on the road. I can't wait to get that driveline angle stuff figured out so we can zip those perches on, which I'm gonna have Tommy do because he's the experienced welder when it comes to that. There will be some other stuff that eventually we'll do to this rear end, but to get into the 11s, which is, this is my goal, with its engine, NA, it's just a cam only converter kind of deal. I think the rear end's gonna do just fine. We're gonna change the fluid and stuff like that. And then once we start getting a little bit more serious, we're gonna probably weld the tubes and some other things. So there'll be more of that content later on down the road. But we're in fantastic shape for getting this thing back and running this summer, which is my goal. So, all right. I'm excited to see a motor back in this thing. You guys, I say you have no idea, but maybe you do. It's been sitting empty way too long, so it makes me very happy. All right, with all that said, like I said, I'm done. I'm gonna go get cleaned up. We obviously have all kinds of projects. This is another Dakota project that we have that's called Gramps. That's gonna be a 4.8 twin turbo. We have just about everything we need for it. These two projects are probably gonna be the main focus in the summer, but we've got some other things going on. So if you wanna hang out with us and you're new to the channel, you haven't really seen this stuff, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you along and come and hang out with us virtually, I guess you could say. If you're already subscribed, like I said last video, we're almost at 4,000 subscribers and you guys are completely awesome. Love y'all. Thank you so much. And we're gonna call it quits there. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram if you'd like. We do the social media on those two platforms only, and that's at the RacerX Garage. And I've got some ideas for some t-shirts coming up pretty soon, and I can't wait to share that with you. So anyway, that's it. Until next time, you know the deal. Y'all be good.